Good morning. My name is Heather, and I garden in Zone 6B. This is my first video, and I'm just going to film some of the successes that I'm having in my garden because I'm relatively new to gardening. And I would just like to kind of document some of my experiences um, with some of these plants that are doing really well. Um, this is the first one I wanted to document just so I remember how great it did. This is clematis. This one's called Crystal Fountain, and I didn't think I liked these originally, but they're growing on me, and they're really big. I'm gonna put my hand next to one so you can see how big they are, but they're pretty spectacular. There's a ton of detail, and parts of it, I don't know if it shows up on the screen or not, but parts of it look a little bluish and parts look a little purple with the pink and the yellow, and it's really pretty, and it still has a ton of buds on it. Like, it's got a long way to go. You see them all down there? It's pretty beautiful. I do have other clematis in the garden, and we'll film them when they actually start to flower along that back fence. I don't know if you can see it, but I have that's a Montana clematis. That one gets pretty big. That's called Maylene, I believe, and it's only got a couple flowers on it right now because it's a little early, but we'll come back out when that blooms and show you that. This is something also that I've been pretty successful with. This right here is a viburnum, and it's called Wabi Sabi, and I like it because it doesn't get as tall as the snowflake viburnum that I have on the other side of the house. Those are actually like past the roof line. This one stays short, and it kind of gets more wide than anything else, and it's really putting on a pretty show this year. This is the first year I've really seen this many flowers on it. So that's, and even when the flowers aren't there, I really like the shrub because I think that the leaves are really pretty. The texture of them is just really pretty. Sorry about my shadow. I'm filming on my cell phone, so we'll see how this comes out. And then there's a lot of open space in this bed because I'm saving room right here for another viburnum. It's going to be a Chinese snowball viburnum. So I'm just saving some room for that. Let's see what else is blooming. Over here, this has been pretty great. This is Brunnera, and I started this as 5 small plants, and they just kind of grew together. It's almost done blooming, but still got some flowers left on it, so I'll kind of go a little closer to them. They look a little purpley on the screen, but they're actually like more like a periwinkle blue, if you can see that. And they just have this really cool foliage too. They have like this veined foliage that I really like. And this has been doing pretty well. This is, I think, year 2 for this. This is a pretty large hosta. This is Empress Wu. You can see by my hand here how big this is, you know. It's doing really well, and wanted to try some hosta. We have a lot of deer here where I live, and they go right for it. But I've been spraying it almost like every other day, and so far so good. And I have some other hostas just kind of starting to come out. This is, I think, called Drinking Gourd. It's bluish. It's very pretty. There's another one back there just kind of starting. And then this spot here I had to leave open because we just replaced this lamppost. So I'll fill that in this year. We'll film that with probably more of this. I really like this. This is Pulmonaria. I don't remember which one it is. I'll try to figure that out and do an update. But this one gets like pink and blue, like bluish flowers on it. It's very pretty. Let me go back down to the main area here. Just kind of take a walk together. Sorry for the shaking. Just gonna cut right across the lawn. We're kind of in between, but it's kind of good to film before everything comes up, I think, because then I can remember where everything is. So this was also put in as a large. This is just 5 plants that kind of grew together. This large clump right in the middle here of what looks just like green feathery foliage. It's Zagreb coreopsis, and it'll be covered in little yellow flowers. And it gets a little bit taller than this. It's really only just starting out because we're still kind of early spring, I'd say, where I am. And then around it, which I have to get more of, I have these are really pretty. These are called cat's pajamas, catmint. Most of what I try to plant is pretty deer resistant, so I stick with that mostly. These things that look like ferns are not ferns. These are poppies. These are like papaver oriental poppies. And actually, I think I see a bud, so let me see if I could get that. These are called Royal Wedding. See that? These are Royal Wedding, and they get very large white flowers with like a purpley black inside. So those will be fun to film when they actually do their thing. And then I'll just kind of pan around here. We have some carpet phlox over here. These are cool. These are new. These are called, I don't remember the short name for this, but I know that it's called Bistorta officinalis. It's a ground cover, and from what I'm hearing, it's pretty aggressive, so I'm hoping it kind of just fills in this whole area. And it gets these pink spikes. This one's a little early, so that's cool. I got to show you that. I'm hoping to eventually get to the point where I have no dirt showing at all. So as you can tell, I have a long way to go. But I'm just going to film the whole thing and see what works and what doesn't. This thing usually does a really nice job each year. It's just a little shrub. It's called a little Henrietia. And it's got buds all over it. These turn into like white flowers. They look kind of like bottle brush like. And the fall color on this is really pretty. It gets red. Last year it was red. Really pretty. I'll just move over. This large clump here is, this is a campanula called, let me get this from the other direction. This is campanula called Pritchard's Variety. And it gets covered in blue flowers, like a light blue. Very pretty. And I do have a stand in here. I don't know if you could see it, but I'm trying to see if I can avoid chopping it because they do tend to flop. And I don't like staking things. I just hate it. So I stuck a support in there just to see how it works out this year because I did not Chelsea chop this year. I'm just letting it do its thing to see how it works. So half of it is supported and then the other side's not supported, and I want to see what happens. It's just kind of like a little experiment. This here is let me kind of back up. I'm too close. This is a Mini Twists Eastern Pine. And I like the color of it. It's got the candles kind of opening up now, but I like how they're kind of like twisted. Don't mind my nails. Gotta get a refill. So that's pretty. There's a lot of room around this for a reason. This apparently gets pretty big. This is a bridal wreath spirea, and it has some blooms on it. I mean, it's kind of new, so it doesn't have a whole lot going on yet, but let me go to this side. You can kind of see them a little better. A little bit. They're kind of almost finished. This is another type of poppy. This one's called Victoria Luis, and it gets salmon pink. There's another one there, like a salmon pink flower on it. So I'll definitely come out and film that because those are beautiful every year, and they're pretty reliable. They've been no trouble at all. Let's see. I made this for the kids. It's a little turtle guy in the path. They run back and forth. I have 2 girls. These are about to open, it looks like. These are some irises. These are called Immortality. They're just white. And they say that these spread, so I'm curious to see if they just kind of fill in this little hole here. I'm going to wait and watch and see what happens. If not, I'll just add more. What else do we have? Okay, let's see. Going back, we have Hamelin grass. Those do well every year. This is a peony that I really love. Like I said, I hate staking, so I stuck it in here because it flops. I bought it because it said it didn't flop, but it does. This one, for at least for me, it does. It's called Elsa Sass, and we've got ants on it, which I've heard are very good for it. Helps it bloom. I don't know if that's true or not, but we'll get to see what that looks like pretty soon. And in here we have lots of little things. We have more catmint. We have geraniums. We've got more stuff that's going to go in. So I'll just kind of walk by. This is something new for this year. Nothing much to look at yet, but it looks so pretty online. I had to have it. That little thing underneath the support right there is another clematis. That one is called Blue Angel. So it's going to get like light blue flowers. And directly behind that we have, this is a Proudberry Coralberry. It doesn't get like really any flowers to speak of, but I do like the foliage on it without anything on it. And then in the fall, it will get little pink berries, like bubblegum colored, all over it. So I'm excited about that. That was only put in last year, so we'll see what it does. Most of the stuff in this garden is a few years old or a couple years old. And this is just a mix of some things right here. This is another Pritchard's Variety Campanula. We've got coneflowers, self-seeded coneflowers. There's some delphiniums in here. More irises. This is a different iris though. This one's blue. It's called Cafe Blue. I think it's spelled B-L-E-U. So we'll film that when it's out. Another peony. This one only gave me 2 blooms last year, but they were really pretty. This one's called Etched Salmon, so we'll see what this does. This does well every year. We get blue flowers. This is a Rose of Sharon. It's called Blue Chiffon. I'll back up. Too close to it. Ooh, I almost fell. There it is. And it gets pretty covered with flowers. The only issue is the deer tend to go after it, so I have to spray it religiously. It's supposed to be deer resistant, but nothing really ever is. So I do have some things they won't eat, but this is not one of them. Baptisia here. This one's, if I remember correctly, it's Blueberries Jubilee. Never mind my shadow. I'll change my order here. And then just kind of panning down the garden, we've got, I don't know if you can see it there, that kind of pinkish foliage there. Let me move a little closer. That's it's a willow, tricolored dapple willow, and I don't want to get my shadow in it, but you can kind of make out the color. It's pink, actually. It's got pinkish foliage on it. It's very pretty. And then to the left of that, we have some phlox starting to come up. We've got a butterfly bush. We've got butterfly weed. We get a lot of butterfly traffic here, tons of it. So I will definitely be filming that because there are times I come out here and there's 10 of them just all on the same bush, and they're all over the place. So that's one of my favorite things about the garden. And then moving on over here, I planted more of these and they didn't come up. I don't know where they are, but these spiky looking things here, these just sticks. These are, I cannot pronounce them, so I'm going to butcher them, but Aramurus, or foxtail lily. That's what that is. So we'll see. Those come out kind of like a peachy color, pinky peachy kind of color. And like I said, there's so much, you can see it, there's so much bare soil showing right now. It'll fill in, and we'll be filling it in as we go, and I'll just film that too. I don't fill it, I don't buy things in drifts like you're supposed to anymore. I used to. And what happened was I would buy 9 of something or 7 of something and plant them, and they just didn't work for me. Either the deer would butcher them, or for whatever reason it didn't work out. So now what I do, I don't do that anymore. I just buy 2 or 3, plant them, and if they work out, great. Then I'll go next year and get more of them and fill in. I'm That's why I leave a lot of space in between things, as you can see, just because I know I'm going to be filling in if things kind of earn their keep. I just don't want to waste any more money buying things and then finding out that for whatever reason they don't work out. I do have, um, I know what my soil is. I've done soil tests. I didn't plant anything until I knew where the sun really hit. So I've been careful with choosing plants. But you never know why sometimes things just don't work out. Or you buy them and you don't really like them when you get them home. They don't look like what you thought. So now I just plant a couple, see how they do, and then fill in. So there's more in this garden. There's a whole area I didn't even show you in the shade area. I'll film that next time and share that with you. So the last thing I'll show you before I wrap it up real quick is the other viburnums that I have. Sorry for all the grass, but there's no other way to get there. The other viburnums that I have that are humongous, because they look really pretty right now, is this one. This is a summer snowflake, and you can see it's so funny because online they're not supposed to get this big, but look how big this is. There's 3 of them, and they're taller than my house. So for anyone who says they grow 9 feet, no, they don't. Let me kind of move over so you can see more of it. So you can see there's 3 next to each other. It's higher than my chimney. And they have flowers all over them. And we have birdhouses in them. The birds like to hang out in there. It's really pretty. And this is another clematis. Last thing. Just because it's so cool. I like how they hold on. They're so cool how they just kind of wrap themselves around. Look at that. This one's the same as the one on the other side. This is the Montana Maylene, so this is going to be a big one. And we have this arch here so that it can grow up and over, and it'll have pink flowers. So I'm going to leave it there, and as things bloom, I'll come out and document some more. Have a great day.